Hi everyone, welcome to my new episode of Peter's English podcast. Wait a minute, yes. I hope you can see me. Yeah, I think everything is okay now. Welcome people. I'm Peter, I'm your host. I'm 34 years old. I'm owner of this podcast. It's called Peter's English Podcast. I like learning English and doing my podcast. I've been learning English since August 2022. At first I was learning only English grammar, but then I discovered my favorite podcasters that they are talking and they are true that you have to practice every aspect of English, of learning English, that is speaking, writing, reading, English grammar, pronunciation, and I'm doing it because I've been watching movies and series in English since August 2023, and I've been listening my favorite English podcast and audiobook since August 2023. I've been podcasting people since June 2024. I want to learn English and doing my podcast because it's my hobby. I want to visit foreign countries. I want to have better paid job. I want to meet other people, other learners of English who like learning English and doing their own podcast. That means I want to do Peter's English podcast community where we the learners of English, who like learning English and doing their own podcast, we can have fun together. Wait a minute. We can have fun together and we can stream and record our new episode via on our YouTube channels via OBS Studio together, and we can do it and have fun with each other and support each other, and I think it's a good idea. But of course, I want our community has to be serious about this, because I like learning English and doing my podcast, and every member of my future community of my podcast has to be the same fanatic into learning English like me, and you have to have your own English podcast about learning English. And you have to learn people how to learn English like me. And yes, of course, I don't want to forget that you have to write your own stories in English like me, because it's the best way how to practice your writing skills. You have to write your own stories, and you have to write your own novel like me. Because I think it's the best idea how to practice your writing. It's creating your own universe of stories about your own favorite email character like me. I like writing my English stories. That is my novel Viera, the Vampire Girl Diary. It's the novel about full of fun. My novel it's full of situations, full of funny situations, full of fun, entertainment. It's about female vampire Viera who lives in modern Slovakia with her family and her boyfriend that is called Peter like me, because I like doing fun of myself, and I like it, and I recommend you to create your own world, when you and you can create your own funny dialogues that you like it because it has to be your hobby like me, and I think it can be a hobby for everyone, but you have to discover it, of course. In this episode, I've been rambling for 5 minutes. I'm good. I'm doing the right steps forward. Yes, people. I've been streaming for 5 minutes, and I haven't started the main topic of this episode, because this episode is about the series Ancient Rome. In the last episode we were talking about the legend of Romulus and Remus, and in this episode I want to talk with you about the Republic of Rome. And I want to chat with my digital co-host Microsoft Copilot, because it's a very good AI chatbot that it can, that in my in my example is a very good historian, because it can find every information about every topic, and I like discussing and chatting about history, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it. I'm streaming and recording on my YouTube channel via OBS Studio, the new video episode of my podcast. We can start our chat about the Republic of Rome, right? Everything interesting for my audience. As you can see, people, our chat with Microsoft Copilot can be very interesting, and we can start. Absolutely, Peter. Let's dive into the Republic of Rome, a thrilling era of political innovation, military conquest, and dramatic personalities that shaped Western civilization. Your audience is in for a treat. Podcast episode Rome, Rise of the Republic, Power, Politics, and Peter, myself, why? Okay. Yes, and Peter, because it's my podcast. In this episode, Peter explores the fascinating world of the Roman Republic from its revolutionary birth in 509 BCE to its dramatic collapse in 27 BCE. Discover how Rome transitioned from monarchy to republic, on how its political system worked, and why its legacy still echoes in modern democracies. With English tips, historical drama, and Viera the vampire secretly listening in. Hi Viera! In this episode, I think the Viera of my novel, not any. I don't mean any real Viera. Yes. I'm sorry, other Vieras, but I was talking about my about my fictional character Viera of my novel. We can continue. Where we are? Yes, in my podcast. I'm streaming and recording right now. Peter, don't panic. With English tips, historical drama, and Viera the vampire girl secretly listening in, this episode blends education with entertainment. Highlights for your audience. I don't need any highlights. Yes. Everything is written. Perfect. We can start. Highlights for your audience. The birth of the Republic. In 539, if the year 509 before the birth of Jesus Christ, Romans overthrew their last king, Tarquinius Superbus, after his son's crime against Lucretia, sparked a revolution. The monarchy was replaced by 2 annually elected consuls, a system designed to prevent tyranny. Political systems. Consuls, 2 leaders with executive power, each could veto the other. Senate, advisory body of elite patricians, later expanded to include plebeians. Assemblies, citizens voted on laws and elected magistrates. Tribunes, protected plebeian rights and could veto unfair laws. Military expansion. Rome fought constant wars against Etruscans, Gauls, and especially Carthago. Okay, we can talk. It was a Carthago in the Punic Wars. After defeating Hannibal at Zama 202 before BCE, Rome became the dominant Mediterranean power. Social struggles. Patricians versus plebeians. A 200-year struggle for equality. Conflict of the orders led to plebeians gaining political rights by the 4th century BCE. Slavery and civil wars destabilized the republic in its final century. Famous figures. Julius Caesar, dictator for life, assassinated in 44 BCE. Cicero, philosopher and politician, defender of the republic. Octavian Augustus, Caesar's heir, ended the republic and became the first emperor in 27 BCE. Fun facts to share. Caligula made his horse a senator. Yes, really, people, it is true. Rome had a toilet god named Crepitus. Really? That's funny. For flatulence and diarrhea. Roman soldiers were paid and sold. That's where salary comes from. Romans used urine to wash clothes. Really? It can be true. Ancient laundry. Now, right in the interest interesting. Now explain. Yes, this is the right word for it. Now explain in the interesting way the system of republic in Rome. Yes, people, we need more explanation because this information wasn't so good for me, I think. And okay, we have something from Microsoft Copilot. I think it's the best encyclopedia for you. But okay, you have to ask a good questions. Absolutely, Peter. Let's break down the Roman Republic's political system like it's a power-packed drama series. Think of it as Game of Thrones, but with more togas, fewer dragons, and way more vetoes. The Roman Republic politics, power, and plot twists. Act 1. The first act, the fall of the kings. Rome said arrivederci to monarchy in 59 BCE after the last king Tarquinius Superbus got to Superbus arrogant. The people revolt and boom, the republic was born. No more kings, just power shared among elected officials. But it was really democracy? Not quite. The core institutions. Who ran the show? Consuls, the co-presidents. Two men elected early. They commanded the army, ran the government, and could veto each other, like having two CEOs who constantly check each other's power. Imagine Julius and Marcus trying to plan a war. Let's invade Gaul. Nope, veto, fine. Let's build a temple. Veto again. Ugh. Senate, the wise and rich council, made up of patricians, elite families. Technically advisory, but in reality they pulled the strings. Control finances, foreign policy, and long-term strategy. Think of them as the shadowy boardroom behind the scenes. They didn't pass laws, they influenced them. Popular assemblies, the people's voice. Citizens gathered to vote on laws, elect magistrates, and decide war or peace. But voting was weighted. The rich had more influence. Still, it gave ordinary Romans a say, especially the plebeians. It's like a town hall where the front row gets 10 votes and the back row gets 1. Tribunes of the plebs, the protectors, created to defend the rights of the common people, had synchronicity. Harming a tribune was a death sentence, could veto and law they claimed unfair. They were the superheroes of the Republic, capes optional, checks and balances, Roman style. Rome didn't trust anyone with too much power, so they built a system of checks and balances, vetoes everywhere. Term limits, most offices lasted 1 year. Collegiality, always more than one person in charge. It's like a political escape room. You can't make a move unless 3 other people agree, and someone's always holding a veto card. The flaws that broke it. Class conflicts, patricians versus plebeians, centuries of tensions, corruption, bribes, backroom deals, and power-hungry generals. Ambition, men like Julius Caesar bent the rules to grab control. Eventually, the Republic couldn't handle the pressure. Civil wars erupted, and in 27 BCE, Octavian, later Augustus, said, "Enough!" He became emperor, and the Republic became history. I don't know, people, this is explain, use more simple explanation and tell who was rich and who was rich, who wasn't, and explain better and use better explanation. Yes, I think because this explanation created by Copilot isn't very good, I think. Let's tell true. You got it, Peter. Let's make this crystal clear and super engaging for your audience. Think of the Roman Republic like a big city with 2 main groups, the rich and powerful versus the ordinary people and their government, a mix of teamwork, arguments, and lots of rules to stop anyone from becoming a king again. Roman Republic explained, like a real-life drama. Who was rich? Patricians. These were old wealthy families. They owned land, had money, and controlled politics. Think of them like the VIPs of ancient Rome, senators, generals, and big decision makers. Who wasn't rich? Plebeians, the everyday Romans, farmers, workers, soldiers, shopkeepers. They didn't have much money or power at first, but they made up most of the population. Now this is better. Now we know who was rich and who wasn't. Yes, of course, people, the most richest people in ancient Rome in the time of Republic were patricians. They were everything. Patricians were the old families of ancient Rome who were rich, money, and they could buy an army, of course. They were very rich, and they were the part. Only patricians were the part of the Senate. I think Senate is in English. And plebeians were the everyday Romans. They were poor. They were farmers, workers, or soldiers. We can consul. Yes, it's Senate. Yes, of course. We can continue. How did the government work? The first were consuls, the bosses. 2 men were elected every year to run the city and lead the army. They had to agree on decisions. If one said no, it was a veto. This stopped one person from becoming too powerful, like having 2 captains of a football team who must agree on every play. The second thing is Senate, the rich advisors, made up of patricians, the rich guys. They gave advice, controlled money, and made big plans. They were elected by people. They were chosen from powerful families. Yes, people, Senate wasn't a democratic institution like today. Our parliament is. Yes, that was true. Imagine a group of old men in fancy robes arguing about taxes and war. Assemblies. The people's vote. All Roman citizens, men only. Yes, people. In the ancient Rome, women cannot vote in this and in assemblies. Could vote on laws and leaders, but the rich had more voting power than the poor. Yes, of course. Still, it gave plebeians a voice in government, like a school vote, where teachers get 10 votes and students get 1. Perfect system. 4 were tribunes, the protectors of the poor, elected by plebeians to defend their rights. Could veto unfair laws and stop powerful people from hurting the poor. They were protected. Nobody could touch them. Think of them like superheroes for the common people. Why was it smart and complicated? Rome didn't want another king, so they made sure no one had too much power. They used vetoes, term limits, and shared jobs to keep things fair. But it wasn't perfect. The rich still had more control. What went wrong? The rich got richer and the poor got frustrated. Some generals became too powerful, like Julius Caesar. Civil wars broke out and the republic collapsed. Yes, people, this is the main reason why Roman Republic doesn't have any chance to live, because the rich got richer and the poor doesn't have any power, and there were generals that became too strong and too powerful, like Julius Caesar. Then imagine, people, civil wars broke out and the republic collapsed. In 27 BCE, Caesar adopted son Octavian became the first emperor, and the republic was over. You could say, no, this is for me from Microsoft Copilot. Rome's republic was like a big group project, but only the rich kids got to choose the rules. The plebeians fought for fairness, and the tribunes were their voice, like ancient bodyguard with veto powers. Want to me write a short story or dialogue between... No. Copilot, tell me the truth. The most powerful was Senate, of course. Senate. Other part of government government doesn't have any power in Rome. I think that the most powerful was Senate, because the Senate because the Senate were people who were rich and they had power, and I don't think that poor people can have some power. I don't think so. You're absolutely right. Yes, I was thinking that. To question the balance of power, Peter, and you're tapping into the one of the biggest truths about the Roman Republic. The real power. The Senate ruled Rome. Who else? While the Republic had consuls, assemblies, and tribunes, the Senate was the true powerhouse, especially during the Middle and Late Republic. Here's why. Why the Senate was so powerful? Control the money. The Senate decided how Rome spent its wealth on wars, temples, roads, or bribes. Directed foreign policy. They made treaties, declared war, and managed provinces. Influenced laws. Assemblies voted, but the Senate often told them what to vote on. Lifetime membership. Once you were in, you stayed in. Unlike consuls or tribunes who served for 1 year. Even consuls, after finishing their term, usually joined the Senate. So the Senate was full of experienced, connected, and wealthy men. The illusion of balance. Consuls had power, but only for 1 year, and they often followed the Senate's advice. Assemblies could vote, but the rich had more influence. Tribunes could veto laws, but they were often pressured or bribed by senators. The Republic looked like a democracy, but it was really an oligarchy. Yes, people. The Republic of Rome was an oligarchy, corrupted state. Yes, people. Because why? Because Senate, it has money, and the people were so rich and powerful that no one can do something. Yes, this was a democracy on ancient Rome. I think the democracy of Republic, it wasn't any. Okay, rule by the few. What happened when someone challenged the Senate? Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus tried to help the poor. Both were killed. Perfect. Julius Caesar gained power outside the Senate. They assassinated him. The Senate didn't like sharing power. If someone got too popular, they were eliminated. Podcast Truth Bomb. You could say, Rome's Republic wasn't a fair game. The Senate held the joystick, and everyone else just played along. The tribunes had veto power, but the Senate had real power, money, influence, and control. This was the real Rome. It wasn't something good to live for poor people or for slaves. But okay, that's it for this episode. It was very interesting, I think, about the system of Republic of the Rome. And I want to continue with this series because I want to chat with it. And my opinion is about this, that yes, it wasn't romantic. It was an oligarchy, corrupted state where the rich people, where the rich guys can do everything. They had power, money, and army. And when you have it, you can do whatever you want. Yes, this was the system of ancient Rome, and to be poor wasn't a very good idea. And yes, when you were as a slave, this wasn't any life. Because you doesn't have anything. But I think that when you were a slave, you cannot do anything because you were someone's property. Yes, you doesn't have any rights, and the laws were only for free people, and the free wasn't slaves. And that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. When you have questions for AI chatbots, you can ask, because I was talking it with AI chatbots, and I know this system of Rome. Yes, of course, because the most powerful was Senate. That were the very rich people who can buy, who can have power, money, and army. And when you were rich in the ancient Rome Republic, you can do whatever you want, and you have power. And no one else could change it except some very powerful generals like Julius Caesar, who had who was smart and had and power and he ended this system. And yes, of course, this system wasn't good at all, and the civil wars and the powerful general ended this, and that's it. But in the next episode I want to talk about the slavery, and then we can continue with other interesting topic of ancient Rome. Bye bye. Yes, follow me. Write me if you want to see, only when you want to do episodes with me, because you have to be an English learner like me. You have to have your own English podcast about your about learning English, and you have to write your own stories, and you have to have your own novel like me. That's my loss of the complete Peter's World. Yes, of course I have one. I'm the owner of my Peter's World, and when you want to enter to my world, you have to be an fanatic into learning English like me. Learning English has to be your lifestyle, like in my. You have to like writing your own fairy tales in English. You have to write your own novel in English like me about your own fairy tales or stories, you have to have your own English podcast about learning English like me. That's it. Bye bye.